Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Give honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Alright, GMS, rule well and teach well, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, along with you brothers laboring in the truth. Alright, bringing the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakudash, Barakatham, and to you brothers. And the title of this video is going to be "The Dollar Crashing Will Lead to the CHIP." Alright, because right now we're currently here in Babylon the Great experiencing a rapid decline of the dollar. Right, with the rapid decline of the dollar, comes increase in prices. Right, ultimately putting just more hell on the Israelites. Of course, the other nations ain't hurting as well. Yet this really affects you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And so this is going to, this dollar slump is going to lead to a complete crash. Okay, and then they're going to implement the CHIP. All right, so this is from Financial. No, it's like it. Archive Today. Which I have to keep that. I'm guessing it's just an archive of different website material. U.S. dollar suffers worst start to the year since 1973. And this slump that it's currently in. Okay. So right now we're in 2025. So this is going to continue to go down. All the way down to this. The U.S. dollar is headed for... The U.S. dollar is headed for its worst first half of the year since 1973, as DT's trade and economic policies prompt global investors to rethink their exposure to the world's dominant currency. So if this currency goes belly up, all currencies are going to go belly up. And they're going to need a replacement currency. The replacement currency is the CHIP. It says the dollar index, which measures the currency's strength against a basket of 6 others, including the pound, euro, and yen, has slumped more than 10% so far in 2025. It says the worst start to the year since the end of the gold-backed Bretton Woods system. So at one point, this money was backed by gold. This money was backed by gold, but that's been so long. This ain't backed by gold no more. See, the confidence of the Babylonians, the confidence of the 2/3, okay, the heathen nations, all right, Esau, Edom, they all, prop up and sit behind the dollar. They believe that the dollar is what's going to keep them secure. Well, when that dollar isn't recognized, and only the CHIP is recognized, that's when they gonna know. Okay, you in a predicament. That CHIP coming about, man, that's the ultimate test. That's the ultimate test for the Israelites, for the children of Israel. Lord's will, we pass that test. Lord's will, All right, we are of the elect of the nation of Israel, and we don't take that CHIP because we know that upon taking that CHIP comes the complete, destruction, that second death, which is those missiles, those intercontinental ballistic missiles. It says the dollar has become the whipping boy of Trump's 2.0 erratic policies. Which there was a book that I read. A lot of brothers have probably read this book when I was younger, called The Whipping Boy. And basically he would, the king, when the king wanted to beat something, or when, the king might be bored, or, the king just want to, take his anger out on somebody, he got a whipping boy. So he just beat him down. So this dollar is beat down. This dollar is woe out. So there has to be a new currency, right? That new currency being the CHIP. The president's start-stop tariff war, the U.S.'s vast borrowing needs, and worries about the independence of the Federal Reserve had undermined the dollar as a safe haven. So they looking at other, currencies. They looking at gold, silver, these different cryptocurrencies. They looking at the pound, the yen, and all those are fine and dandy. Yet when it comes down to it, it's gonna get to a point where you're not gonna be able to buy or sell unless you got that MOTB. See, we would rather be put to death. We'd rather be beheaded for not taking that CHIP. Since the currency was down 0.2% on Monday, says that the Senate is preparing for the big, beautiful bill, which basically is more debt. More debt that, they're going to have more money to rule over the Israelites. The landmark legislation is expected to add $3.2 trillion to the U.S. debt pile. Damn. Here it is. You got these different Jakes all throughout Babylon. They get denied certain, advances. You got different Jakes all around Babylon the Great. They own different restaurants. They own different things. And I seen recently there was a TikTok where there was a banker who was speaking on people with perfect credit not being able to get loans through the bank just because they just ain't doing them right now. So the bank ain't letting you hold no money. All right, but they got money for this. That's because this nigga a hypocrite. He's the devil. All right, who is he? Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. That's the devil. Man, woman, and child. All devils. And of course you have many, people who may look like Edomites, yet their line actually goes back, to the our patriarch, Jacob. Yet they may look like Edomites, yet through the spirit that they're Israelites. I was watching the trailer for F1. The F1 racing. They had Brad Pitt. I was like, this nigga's a Jake. They had him and the other dude. I forget his name. Buddy Boy from Snowfall. They were in the movie. They were just doing a interview or something. I'm like, this is a Jake. You know, they got that Fast and Furious. All right, Fast and Furious is supposed to be making one last movie where they're supposed to show Paul Walker. You know, they're gonna use AI to show Paul Walker. Paul Walker and Jake. Vin Diesel or Jake. All right, going back. It says the dollar sharp decline puts it on course for its worst first half of the year since a 15% loss, or a 15% loss in 1973, and the weakest showing over any 6-month period since 2009. And you can tell that this place is out of here. It's through. Everything high as hell. People through. People proud and through. You know, it's about time to wrap this thing up. The Lord has about had it. I was getting some gas earlier today. I was just looking at the state of people. I'm just like, damn, man, this place is through. You know, our people are in a jacked up position. And why is that? Because we turned from the Lord. So now we stuck here. We subject to the other nations. All right, yet there is a way out. There's a way out. It's a sure way out. The elect of the nation Israel going to be saved. That's a fact. So Lord's will were of that number. All right, it says the currency slide has confounded widespread predictions at the start of the year that Trump's trade war would do greater damage to economies outside the U.S. while fueling American inflation, strengthening the currency against its rivals. So Babylon the Great, you know, pump faking, and now all the other nations now they basically calling America's bluff. All right, we don't need your currency. We got our currency. We got this. We got that. We got gold, right? You know, cryptocurrency, whatever, you know. Yet, right, the international bankers, they're gonna implement the CHIP. That's gonna be the new currency. You could, and all these niggas with all this cash, you know, cash is king. Shit, chip gonna be king coming soon. Chip gonna be king. If you ain't got the chip, you might as well don't even look. You know, window shopping is gonna be coming back in style. You know, 50 Cent had that song, "Window Shopper." You know, window shopping gonna be coming back in style. You know, back before the economy was super trash. You might go to the mall, go, you know, to this store, that store, whatever, you know, go downtown, look at this, all right, and go window shopping. You can't afford it, you just looking at it, or maybe shit. When you get paid, you know, boom, boom. See, that's going to come back. Yet, if you don't have the CHIP, you ain't even getting into the doors, man. I'm just speaking as a man. You know, when you go to these different stores, You know, they gonna have a motherfucking reader right there off top. Off top. Fuck it. Cause what you coming into the store for if you ain't got no CHIP? That's what they gonna be asking. What you in here? You just walking around and shit? Cause that's part of the control and that's part of tightening. See, this damn devil, he wants to be your husband. So everywhere you go, in order to go in there, you're gonna need that CHIP. That CHIP gonna be pinging off, collecting all your data. This what Esau want. Esau want your woman to be able to just use a chip in her brain to know exactly where the fuck you at. Now we already got the phones. The phones track the phones. This the phone. Yet now it's gonna get even more intense. See the phone really was a precursor. With the tracker and the tracking capabilities, it was just a precursor, eventually to the CHIP. They get you prepared with these different things. Phones, cards. Tap to pay. Right. Yet we know that there's a balance to it because, of course, the phone can be used to, break down and destroy, but it can also be used to build up. See, we, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, we use this phone to access the scriptures, to access the videos, different materials that help us, and aid us in this walk through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, let me get a precept for that. Which, what I'll do is, let me just go straight to the scriptures from here, but I'm just going to slowly scroll down. It can just be read later. All right, speaks about gold hit record highs. All right, this is the book of Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Right, and upon reading that, the first thing that popped into my mind is how the Lord is going to, he's going to put everything into an even balance when he comes back. That even perfect balance is, Esau, Edom, okay, the other nations in captivity, and the Israelites being, in perfect bodies, the Israelites being joint heirs under Yahweh Shai. That's perfect balance. See, right now it's all unbalanced. Everything is all messed up and mixed up. Yet the Lord, when the Lord comes back, he's going to balance the scales. Verse 2, when pride cometh, then cometh shame. But with the lowly is wisdom. Yeah, so who the lowly? The Israelites, more specifically, the men of the Lord, more specifically, prophets, starting off with the elder apostles on down. The integrity of the upright shall guide them. All the men before us, and we read the words of these prophets who are inspired through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai as Israelites. Isaiah, Amos, Habakkuk, so on and so forth. Proverbs 11:3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. So yeah, everything outside of this truth, okay, is just meant to bring you down. All these niggas, 2/3 niggas, scoffing ass heathen. Okay, even the non-scoffing ass heathen, even if they don't say nothing, they set up to take you down. But ultimately, who can transgress the law? The Israelites. Those be the hardest headed niggas. It's 2/3. Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath. So you can't say, okay, hold on right here, I'm gonna go get a meal. It ain't gonna matter. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Yeah, so only by being of the elect of the nation of Israel, from the foundation, from the jump, that's the only way to be delivered. Because ultimately, Yahweh Shai has to come back and get his elect. Right? And deliver us, Lord's will we be of the elect, from that death. Because that's a sure death. Them missiles, them intercontinental